Well, good Thursday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. We are targeting the violence here on this podcast and on our Facebook Live. And you know exactly what targeting the violences mean. We're talking about ways to influence the young people in our community to live a better life, to stay away from the life of crime. And so we have two amazing young women that we are going to be talking to today. So I'm so excited about, who are movers and shakers in our community, across our country, across our world. We're claiming it already. So, and they're local, and we're going to talk about them, about influencing our young girls, because, you know, we're living in a time right now where violent crime committed by young girls has actually increased over the past couple years. Now, my first guest is Mariah Smith, who is now the newly crowned 2023 Miss Junior Juneteenth. Congratulations. Thank you. Let's talk about first a little bit about what exactly Miss Juneteenth is, because this is actually a new it's a new pageant through the Maynard Foundation that started last year, but it's making a difference among girls. It's not just a beauty pageant.
Yes, ma'am. Well, actually, our hashtag is hashtag more than a pageant, because we have various workshops that lead up to the pageant. And throughout the pageant, we are judged off of a hidden figure that is an African-American woman. Mm-hmm. And then we have to talk about what we want to do in the future and how we would impact the world.
Now, Mariah, you're a junior, an upcoming junior, right, at UMS right here school. So we know that you're a very smart young lady. Let's talk about why you decided to run for Miss Junior Juneteenth.
Yes, ma'am. Well, my mom signed me up, but I'm very grateful that she did, because it was a great experience, and I met a lot of girls and formed a humongous sisterhood, and I'm still talking to some of the girls to this day.
Sometimes us moms have to be pushy, and we have to make you go outside of that box that you have formed, but that's awesome that you have embraced it. Now, Miss Juneteenth is something historical, and it stands for something great, so let's talk about your platform.
Yes, ma'am. My platforms are to promote confidence and encourage others to embrace themselves within their own skin, and to be okay to share about their culture. Additionally, I would like to encourage the youth to get involved in the arts, specifically music.
And you are involved in music, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's talk about that.
I primarily play the clarinet, and my side instruments are the oboe and the soprano saxophone. But I find that music is a really great way to express yourself and just kind of let go, especially with the genre of jazz.
And it's so important to find that expression, to kind of, because there's a lot of pressure along teens nowadays, isn't there?
Yes, ma'am.
So how has that helped you, just the music, just dealing with everything else that's going on around society?
Well, when you begin to play new instruments, you get into music groups. Right now I'm in the jazz studio, and in August I'll be trying out for the Mobile Youth Symphony Orchestra. So first of all, you meet new people who are wanting to attain the same positive goals that you want to attain. And you also just get a whole new perspective of life, because people who are in arts have beautiful minds.
That is so true. I've got some artsy kids. Now, Mariah, you hit on something that was so critical here, being around others who are positive. How important that is for kids nowadays when they're forming their friendships.
It is very important, because your friends tell who you are. So if you're around positive and good, you will do good and you'll be positive. So as long as you stay on that good path and you're positively involved in your community, like the Miss Juneteenth pageant program, I think that you're on a straight road to success.
All right. So, and I know that you're just starting off. It's actually, what, June 19th that you were crowned?
Yes, ma'am.
So it hasn't even really been a month, but what are some of your plans throughout the year on reaching some of the kids in the community on some things you'll be doing?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I plan to do appearances like these and share my crown and what Juneteenth is, so that everyone can know what Juneteenth is and understand my title and the worth of the title. And also, I would like to encourage youth in schools and go out and read books to kids, and just really encourage music at a young age.
And that is so important, because a lot of our kids aren't reading. They're so quick to pick up the phone.
Yes, ma'am.
And so if they see someone like you, especially the young kids, and they're going to look up for you in that beautiful crown.
Thank you.
That is a gorgeous crown. So what's some of your advice to some young girls out there now who may be struggling, who may be watching at this time, or their parents are watching thinking, what can we do to get our daughter motivated to want to do something different, to want to do more?
Well, for the girls specifically, I would just tell them that Jesus loves them, so you have someone there always. And then I would also just say, get involved. because if you don't get involved, you will not meet anyone. And when you have friends that are involved with you, like with my music, I'm hanging out with them outside of music, and we're building each other up because sometimes they're a little bit better than me, but that's good because then I can get on their level. So just hang out with people who are sometimes even better than you. And as my Pastor Jay always says, we got this. So it really just all goes down to who you're around and how you want the world to see you.
Friendly competition doesn't hurt anyone, and you're right. A wise man once said, you never want to be the smartest person in the room, because that means you can never learn anything else from the people that you're around. So those are some very wise words. You're a very smart girl, Mariah. Well, I know you're going to be successful as Junior Miss Juneteenth of 2023. We're going to see you all over the city doing some great things, so we're really excited about that. And being an inspiration to our young girls. There's another question I did want to ask you before we leave. You were talking about helping girls love themselves for who they are. And that's really important nowadays with our young girls, because you have to compete with the girls you're seeing on social media.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you keep focused that way?
I really just put all my faith in God, because if I have a tough moment, I just go back to the scripture, and he says that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and marvelous are my works, and that my soul knows well. So it's really just being okay with knowing that it's okay to be alone. And sometimes you have to be alone because we're not created all the same. So you just have to love yourself in the skin that you're in, because being unique is a beautiful thing. And the world would be a little boring if we were all robots. So I think everyone should just keep being themselves. And when you look at social media, it's not a comparison. It's a you go girl, because they are beautiful. Everyone's beautiful. You don't have to compare, but you can congratulate them. And yourself too.
Oh, wow. Very smart girl. Good job to your parents. They have raised a very great girl. And I know that you're going to be influenced among so many of our young girls in the community. Keep up the good work. I can't wait to see what you're going to do next, because I know you've got some big, huge goals that we've talked about before as far as college plans.
Yes, ma'am.
So I know all that's going to come true for you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to have you back again to Mariah Smith. Thank you. 2023 Junior Miss Juneteenth. Or Miss Junior Juneteenth, that's the way that we put it. We're going to be back with another guest who's influencing some young girls through fashion here in our community. We're going to talk to her in just a few minutes, so stay right there with us. Don't move. All right, we're continuing our theme today of movers and shakers with our young women in our community. So joining me now is LaShante Banks, and LaShante is a formal gown fashion designer who's from Mobile. Let's talk a little bit about your backdrop, LaShante, and then we're going to kind of talk about your website and some of your fashions that you have and where people can find them. But you're from Mobile here originally, right?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
What high school did you go to?
BC Rain.
BC Rain. All right, Raiders. Now, you actually have an interesting story, because you were telling me that you saw a prom dress and never had sewn a day in your life.
Right.
Tell me that story.
Okay, so I saw this girl, and she was actually modeling a dress. So I guess she was on her way to her gig. And I said, "Where you get your skirt from?" And she's like, "Oh, someone made it for me." It's like, oh my God. So my neighbor, she sewed, and I asked her, I said, "Can you make a dress for me? I saw one I want, but I want a different color." And she said, "You can make it yourself." It's like, I don't know how to work a sewing machine. At the time, I only had $52 to my name. I used that. I went to Walmart. I got a sewing machine, and she guided me on how to do it. And once I wore mine, everybody said, "Where you got your skirt from?" Like, I made it.
So that started the creation. And you have, is it called LaShante Boutique? Am I saying that right?
So I worked at a fabric store after that.
Oh,
And
okay. And then go on.
My manager named me LaShante.
LaShante. Okay, that's what they come
spelling my
from.
name out.
Okay.
Yes.
And so and I think we've got, we have a full screen where somebody can go and actually see your work, and it's all over Instagram. I've seen a couple of pictures of it, and your fashion is actually absolutely beautiful. Your dresses are beautiful. Now, you moved to Atlanta recently, right?
Yes.
But you still give back to girls here. Let's talk about how you do that with your with
I'm
your
not
fashion?
going anywhere, Mobile. Yes, I do most of my prom girls here. Like the previous year, I had 28. Well, this year I had 28 prom girls here.
Oh, wow. And so you just, do they come to you with an idea, or how does that work, and how do you create it? Do we have her website full screen that we can pull up so we can let people look at some of her fashion? Let's talk about how you you create that, how you come about that.
Yeah, so they would send me pictures. It's like, can you make this? Can you make this? And like, yeah, I can make that. Like about anything, but yes, I can make that, and I get approval from the parents also.
Which is smart.
Yeah.
So in the short time that you've been making dresses, I mean, that you just started sewing, and it's somebody in your neighborhood that made a difference. The kind of, how did sewing and becoming a fashion designer change your trajectory of life?
So everybody thinks I'm younger than I actually am. So I actually pull in more younger females, and they want to be friends. So I get to encourage them, and they'll just reach out. What you doing?
Good. So
it's
do you
kinda
try to tell them to follow their dreams, or what is some
Yeah.
advice that you give to the young girls out there?
Basically, know what's your thing, know who you are, and don't stop for nobody. We all probably been there, but don't stop for nobody. Keep going. Have your goals written out.
And so just looking at a skirt that you thought, okay, this I like this skirt, I want this skirt. This is now giving you a career, a passion.
Yes.
How does that feel?
It feels. I never thought I'd be doing this. I was in college. I stopped college and everything. I was in college thinking that I was gonna be a hairstylist because my aunt was a hairstylist. Like, I want to be like my aunt. I'm like, on the shop. Now I get to give the opportunity to somebody else that wants to learn.
And you're creating fashion.
Yes.
And I guess we'll have to try to put a link out on our page, because apparently we can't get that up. Do we not have that page? We don't have it? Okay. So we're going to put a link out on our Facebook Live after this is all done. I'll put it on there so people can go and check out some of your fashion design and see exactly some of your clothing. I hate that we don't have that to show it now, but we're going to make sure that they get on so they can see exactly what you do and the influence that you're bringing to other kids, because it's so important. So many girls don't know what they're going to do. While they're in high school, they really don't have a passion, but you found your passion, which is amazing.
Yes, I get to share my story because I was in the same boat.
Well, we're so glad that you decided to come on here and share your story. So we're going to get all that information out. I appreciate you coming, and we know homecoming's coming up soon, so I'm sure you are just swamped with a lot of homecoming. Well, because it's coming up early. I mean, it's just another month or 2 months. School's coming back in.
Yes, and I just got assigned to a high school for dance uniforms.
Oh, wow. Here locally?
Today.
Oh my goodness, that is so exciting. And I'm not going to ask you what high school, but I'll ask you later. But I'm sure I can't wait to see their designs and see them out taken to the football field. And then we'll say that, you know what, showed them here first. Right. At least, got your word out. We appreciate it so much for coming out, and for you and Mariah. We want to thank y'all both for being such inspirations for our girls. We're hoping that some of them can connect with y'all on social media just from watching you here. Even some of the parents reaching out if they want you to kind of be an influence on their girls. So thank you, Mariah. We appreciate y'all both.
Thank you.
We'll be back next week for more Targeting the Violence. We'll see you then.